Hello, welcome back to Chapter 5. You're taking me on a fully online class, face-to-face class, or a blended class at Harper College located in northern Illinois. So if you're in the area and you happen to see this quick overview uh, and you are interested in taking a course, please sign up at Harper College. Uh, I teach a variety of classes. Not myself, other instructors will teach this class, or find your local community college. There's a lot of community colleges that will give you a good, solid foundation if one is trying to decide should I go into sports marketing as one of my career objectives. Okay, so remember, you have my concept maps. You have the publisher's book that we're utilizing. I think it's the fifth edition. Uh, you have the link to the publisher, so you could go in there. And this is, right now, I'm going to try to keep this always underneath a half an hour. It's a quick summarization of what you've done with the reading, utilizing the tools and other links that have been provided, or some links that other students from other classes have provided here for us. So, I'm just going to go real quickly. Some just need that uh, overview, the quick overview. I've studied all this, or if you're just beginning to, this is you're looking at this first before you read the chapter. First, read the chapter is the way you would study. Print out my concept maps. You have the second tier. Look at my YouTubes, add in what you want, look at the sites and everything else, and you should do very well. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Last session we had, chapter 4, we were looking at understanding participants, those who are actually in the sport as consumers. Remember, this is a marketing class, even though it's focused on sports marketing. It's the same concept of marketing. It's just that the niche, I'm looking at individuals who are very active or like to watch sports. Okay, so here's what, remember, and you've had this already for the author, so I'm already going to go in here. Let's see if you can read this, okay? And I'm just going to go real quick. What you're going to find out when you do the reading, you want to know what the similarities, differences. It's no different than when you look at any kind of demographic. Within the demographic, are certain niches. So the way we're looking at these last two chapters, we're looking between spectators, those are just watching like me because I'm out of shape, or participants, those who watch and also like to play the sports, and they pick up ideas from the individuals they look are the best in that field. Okay, eight basic fans, the motivator. We'll talk about that. Understand game attendance. Remember, the whole thing is bringing people to the attendance. Either to buy tickets. Not only does it help the spectators and participants, also helps the players because then they say, "Oh, I feel more." Look, it's like if you go in there, and you got a small group of people watching you. Okay, you play, you do all right. You got all these people, yay, yay. There's a lot of pressure. It's a little different, but that's what makes the game. And if you could get that momentum within your fan base, you'll be perfect. Okay, describe the demographic profiles of spectators. We'll talk about the relationship between stadium. When you go to a stadium, what do you want about it? We're here up in Chicago, so we've got the White Sox, and then I've got the Cubs. The Cubs are redoing the stadium. When I was in the corporate world, I went to the White Sox stadium after they remodeled. Very nice. You don't even have to like sports. They got games there. They got the big screens. You could go to very nice. So, but a little more expensive, but it changes. So now the Cubs are trying to still keep the Chicago Wrigley Field are trying to keep that same old-fashioned nostalgia that people like, but bringing in the modern, the screen, the bigger scoreboard, more amenities that you could go in there, to eat. Because some people like the sports. You're trying to do what you're going to find out is how do I make it as a family affair, or in a lot of things, how do corporations bring people together other than going to the golf course. Okay, components of a sportscape. That's the whole model. We'll talk about what brings people in, attendance, everything we talked about earlier, and describe sports involvement and spectators' perspective. Remember, part of marketing, I have to be involved with my spectators, in this case, as consumers, so I understand them, and I, for lack of better words, have those promotions or those motivators to get them to come back or tell other individuals. Discuss the model of identification, fan identification. Most of us identify. I'm up here in northern Illinois, so I grew up in Chicago, so I'm a Bears fan. But now I'm at the border between Illinois and Wisconsin. You have a lot of Packer fans, and they identify with the Packers. I identify with the Bears. The Bears don't make the playoff, the Super Bowl. Then I basically, hey, I'm a Packer fan. Now some Packer fans may say, if it wasn't the Packers, I'm not going to watch anybody. But that's something you have to look at. You know what I mean? Because they're more, but the spectators don't care. They enjoy the sport. They have their fan, but they enjoy the sports. And since they didn't win, okay, we'll take the next best thing, and it's the Bears. Even though there's a rivalry between them. Okay. All right. So that's the overview. Okay. So let's stop this. Now remember again, spectators. The spectator participant markets are different. How I sell to them, and I think they had that from the author. And this basically, let me make this bigger because it was out of the book. If I really look at it, all it basically is basically said. If I'm looking at golf, because some of you may have little issues. Oh, what do they mean by these circles? This means that there is a commonality between spectators and participants. I could market within this area. Here, when I'm looking at basketball, all it's telling me it's I'm in this mode here. NASCAR, very little between spectators and participants. Usually it's more spectator. Unless I can afford to drive the car at that speed, and there's a lot of risks and there's a lot of sponsorship. Very little. Though you have some that do for drag racings or something that's close. So you kind of get in there. Participants in NASCAR running the spectators. I think they made participants, spectators. It just flipped it around. And I don't think it's supposed to be NASCAR. It's supposed to be running. All right. And and that's in your book. Look at it closer. And the author does do a nice job explaining it. So, okay. So that basically is the whole nutshell. So if I've got this, it makes a difference. Social and economic that you learn in marketing. Traditionally, consumers like it in that in a lot of sports are more male, better educated. If to by heavy participants, be younger and heavy spectators group, more likely to use business and use reporting. Well, we did. The author had some questions or anything. If you're looking, why are there less female basketball players in high school? Because of the rules that they have to fund both the same. Could it be that the new generation is not as active in the sports? And I understand, and I think this new administration is focusing more on sports than the other administration was focused more on dancing and getting people together. But that you don't have that teamwork, that collaborative learning, that connection. Because a lot of times when you dance, we dance as a group, not like a flash dance. And that was a way of, and that it could have been a way of keeping the cost down, because it costs a little bit more to keep sports up. So for those of you who are looking to get into sports marketing, your high schools, your college, especially more the high schools, are more apt for that. That's my bird going nuts here. Hang on a second. Let me just pause this. Okay, I have a cockatiel. And sometimes you hear the ducks or the birds. Where I live is unincorporated, so I got a little area, a little open. Not that much. I grew up in a city, and I kind of like the what do you call when my neighbors aren't that close. You know what I mean? I've been in both. So anyway, I just let them go outside. I got like a dog area where the dogs, they all hang out together. Okay. Remember, I'm live. You get what you get, right? All right, so you have that. So most spectators exhibit interest in a wider variety of media, mostly television. Now you got streaming. You've got other ways of getting the spectator to watch. But the comment is on TV. Okay, I'll compare male heavily spectators, and remember, this is all in the book, all in the reading. I'm just doing a real quick summarization so you could pick up and remember what you should be focusing on for the exams. The exams aren't too bad. You're doing pretty good on the exams. Okay, are different with respects and how could it be reached by advertising. All right. So you have that. Remember, always look at the book. The book. You should read your book first. This is just a quick outline over what's happening out there. Okay, factors influence attendance, and this doesn't make a difference if it's in going to attendance to the game at your high school, or bringing attendance into your sports bar or some other thing that you're trying. Soccer team. How do I bring people in? Usually when you got the kids in there, they want some support, but with the grandparents and everything, other people coming in, because that's support. The kids like to see that. No different. And as we grew up, we're just bigger kids. Fan motivation factors. Is the game attractive and fast? I mentioned before. Baseball's okay, but if you have two good teams, it's a boring game. But sometimes you got two good teams, and if you see, I'm just saying, from a spectator's perspective, if you have younger kids, that's why the stadiums make a big difference now. Competitive factors through the competition, demographics, where the stadium's located, and we'll talk later on because you afford the prices, how the stadium's laid up, value of sports to the community. Sometimes like. Certain areas, that is the main activity because there's not much going on out there. The involvement in the sports, either at the local level or in the high schools or even on leagues or anything that's out there. And how does the fan identify? And then here's a link that the author had and I've created the links inside of a Blackboard, so you could click on there, or you could just look up the links. Okay, attendance in college football, is it going up or down? And there'll be probably a question that you always be asked. You know how I am. I try to take, remember, the book and everything else was published in 2014, 2015 to 2017. So in business and marketing and everything else, when I'm looking at how to stimulate participants, I go maybe back 5 years and I start looking at trends. I need a baseline. If the trend is going down, how do I bring that up? That's your job as a sports marketer. Understand it, find out, and move forward. I'm trying to bring that all in. Okay, so when you look at fan motivation, and we talked about Maslow, and Maslow's in my management class and a lot of classes. You got the hierarchy, physiological. If you can't, if you don't have the basic needs, you're not going to go out for the next need. And then you go to social, self-esteem, and security, and all this ties into will I go as a spectator to the game, to the bar, to the location where I'm open. If I'm in a high risk neighborhood, we can say, hey, park your car, just drive up here. We have a valet service. We'll park your car in a safe, closed in area, and then when you're ready, we'll bring the car to you. So it takes away that security factor. And then remember, we go to bars or we go to clubs or it's a gathering of friends, family. It's a family outing. And sometimes some of the major leagues, for lack of better words, are out. The cost is so expensive. And, the author talked a little bit about the expensive. I think from 2005 or whatever. But it's 2017. Could we afford it? When we're in an economics downturn, it's a lot to take a family out. That's why minor leagues were basically being more had a higher trend of people coming in because hey, I can't afford the major league. The minor leagues, it's more relaxed. Everything else, I don't. I still enjoy the sport as a spectator or a participator, but it works out well. Okay, so competitive advantage. How competitive? I'm not bad mounting baseball. I was never good. I played softball. Okay, so a little different than playing baseball with a league. I never learned what a mitt and everything else is all with your hands. I grew up in Chicago. That's just me. So I don't look at that as off opportunities and victors. And depends if you have two. Both games are too. Both teams are too good. Sometimes very little activities, close calls. I like to see the ball hit. I like to see them score. I mean, that's what brings up your fan base. Victory of their own, and then popularity. Again, another link. Okay. Remember, and I've got the links in there in Blackboard. Blackboard is a course management system utilizing by Harper many colleges. Okay, what motivates fans? Okay, I just went through that. Sorry. Okay, enhancing self-esteem. Again, Mark. People try to enhance their own image by trying to associate it with a winning team. I voted. I knew they're going to go. And the same thing with the election. That's why you have a lot of people real disappointed with our current president, is because they had their whole money and everything else bet on Hillary Clinton winning, and the underdog came in. Hey, to me, it's holy shoot. How did that happen? To me, that would be interesting. But then you feel bad that your team lost. All right, different issues. I'm not sure. Remember, I always try to stay out of politics, but I'm trying to make a comparison. So when for lack of better words, could relate what's going on in sports, going on in the politics and everyday. Surroundings that businesses are doing. Okay, people try to enhance their own image, basking in the glory of the team that won. The diehard fair weather. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I never was for the Packers or I wasn't for the Sox, but they're winning. Okay, hey, I'm a Chicago Sox fan too because everyone else is doing it. I jump on the bandwagon, for lack of better words. Okay, people try to maintain and just say, "Oh, I told you I didn't want to do it." So a lot of people would say, "Hey, I never voted for her anyway because I knew he was going to win," or vice versa. And then it's going to be local or a certain team. You're with them until they lose and say, "No, that wasn't me. No, I never said that." All right. Okay. So, cut off relationship, fair weather focus fans will basically cut off the failure. Hard will not care. And look at the Chicago Cubs. They were losing for. We made more excuses. The goat, the weather, you name it. But we were die hard. We supported our fans. So what's happening now is the Cubs prices going up. Are they going to another niche for a higher income bracket, and they're going to drop or lose their main base that supported them when they're down. You want your main base, your loyal fans, to keep you when sometimes the team's not doing well, and it could be because of injuries or whatever factors involved. Okay, so there's a lot. So remember, you always try to keep that. So you want to keep that core fan, even though they may not be generating as much income as the other ones, but the other ones will drop you. Corporation drop you because you're not make it. Okay, so diehard fans, even the team's losing, and basically in spite of reflect the loss. And I had the Chicago Cubs, and I just put the Wrigley sign there. You know what I mean? I'm from Chicago. I think they still kept the sign. I haven't been there when they did the renovations lately, but that's an icon. That's what when we grew up, and later on we'll talk about how we passed that on to our families members. Okay, so I just close all these. Okay, so now we're going to go more fan things. Diversion, basically sports enable people to escape. And I mentioned that. That's why you don't put politics in. When I'm watching sports, I'm away from my troubles, my bills, my stress, whatever, my relationship. I'm in there. That's why people get so involved in that sport, because for that time, they escape other than drinking and everything else. I mean, we escape because I'm in there. Entertainment is still entertainment. It could be family, certainly sports. Creates a drama and excitement. Provides fans with basic levels of arousal. That's why when you look at, especially in the NFL, when I was looking at some of the games, and some of the players, I mean, you got family things, and the player goes up there and pretends he or she's peeing on their, like a dog. Give me a break. Come on, I mean, I tell my kids that's not the attitude I want. I try to say, hey, go with the sports, and that's just me, my own perspective. Don't get mad at me. I got kids, I got grandkids. I want them to say, hey, this is a sport. What you do on the side, they don't have to see that because I don't let them watch that. Do you see what I'm talking about? I'm watching the sports and what's going on TV. Grandpa, Jaja, what is he doing? Why is he doing that? And you gotta say, well, I mean, there's so and so. You have to make that. I don't want to do that, so I'll stop watching with my grandkids. And once you start losing it, you're losing your base that's going to be replacing me as I can't afford it, or if I eventually pass away. Not right away. I'm here for a while. Okay? NFL protests, it hurts. Infographic, there's a link. Love the sports figures. Remember, you're trying to look at those people. Again, you have that economic value. People follow sports because of potential economic gains, gambling. And I'm not pushing gambling. I'm at a college level. But you have to understand, some people just uh, you don't have to gamble. I'm not talking about for money because it's illegal. You know what I mean? Well, not really, because you got some of these if you're over 21. But I'm not trying to push that at a college level, so I'll just let that go. All right. Okay. Now, aesthetic value is there. People like sports because inherited beauty associated with sports, especially specific sports or gymnastics. All right. Look, if they have, and it depends on the sex. If you have more people, if I'm a female and I'm looking at a weightlifter, all his or her muscles, I find that attractive. If I am a male or heterosexual, for lack of better words, that's just me. Remember, there's other people, same sex orientation. I'm not pushing one way or the other. That's their preference. That's a different niche. But if I'm a male, I'm just in generalized, okay? And I'm looking at a female bodybuilder. I don't know. That's just me. But other people may find that attractive. Remember, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. But you have to understand who's your niche, who you're targeting, what's your marketing, who you're trying to bring into there. Okay? Okay. Need for affiliation again. All right. You have people, you have friends that you talk about because you're following, and a family tie. People follow sports a lot and build bonds with family links. So why we need bandwagon. And if you really look at it, doesn't that make sense? Remember, you're an influence or peer pressure to your siblings, to your brothers, your sisters, your own children, for lack of better words, and your friends. Okay. Now, game attractive, and I'll show this off. You have all this varies from game to game, week to week. Some games are boring, depends on the skill. Oh, geez, you know what I mean? Often affiliate on the skill individuals participating. So if my main players are unable to play because they got they've been benched, or something happens, then basically, or their image is tarnished, whatever reason. And I think one thing that also hurt the NFL is the domestic abuse that was going on. You know what I mean? So you have to look at it. Some of the sports that also hurt it is when you look at hazing in schools. And hazing's all right. It's like a right of, when I say all right, mild hazing. You just kind of throw water, not verbal, not. Do you see what I'm talking about? Because look, if you and I think some of the authors would look at going to the military. They strip you down, for lack of better words, or break down your will and try to reform you. So hazing is kind of fat. Hey, now you're part of the group, so you get a pie in your face or something. Fun hazing, but I think sometimes some people put that to the extreme, and that the individuals, the persons on that way list are back. So just remember, fun hazing, I mean, it's just part of the sportsmanship. You know what I mean? Now you're part of the group. What I mean? When I was in school, once you're on the team, sometimes they slap you with a towel. Now it's abuse, but and it still could be. I mean, I'm not saying hit him, but playful. Let's leave it at that. Okay, enhanced value and special attractions and everything else. Okay, so now the biggest things that you're really coming to is economic. Remember, you're looking from the economic viewpoint when we go on the next one from your spectators because you afford it. On the flip side, I'm looking at what's my pricing from a manager. Remember, I'm still a management. Why you're in this thing is how do I bring the money in? Or it could be how do I bring people into the high school games or whatever establishment you're trying to sell. Aspects of all sports marketing, can be altered by sports marketing. It's perception. When you take marketing, if I think I get the value even though I know in reality I have a real large profit margin, but I perceive this is a good price compared to, remember, because consumers, especially those who've taken regular marketing, price is the indicator of quality and value. So if I have a higher price and I don't have a higher quality, what other value do I get? I get better seats or whatever. Same thing if you go to for lack of better words, if you go to some kind of sports venue, it depends how they're laid out. Some you get what you pay for. Okay, price of tickets, value. Uncontrollable economics. It just makes sense when you take macro and microeconomics. That's why they make you take it in business and marketing. Is the average income of the population at your stadium or your venue or your operation is open? They don't have the money. You better bring those prices down. So you have to look more on the expense side and the health of a company. Right now, the economics, what they call, is going up, whether you like it or not. Remember, I always try to throw in. A lot of people say, "Well, oops, I got this one in. I had an error. I must have added that." Who's your sports fan? And then they got the graph. That's in the book. You can look at it else. So I'm not going to go into it. It's just there. All right. Stadium, how to use the stadium, access, and I'm not talking about when I look at accessibility. I'm also talking about if you have people with that need accommodations because they're in a wheelchair or they have trouble seeing the game. That's why you have the real big screens stadium, and some of them you could link into the Wi-Fi while you're there. For whatever reason, you get a passcode when you come in there, so I could look at it and have the device that I could still enjoy the game, other than just hearing it, because I'm visually challenged, for lack of a better word. If I say the wrong word, please. I'm not here to upset anybody, and especially marketing. As an instructor, I try to get you to think it through. So I try to bring it down to the most simplistic concepts and ideas, so you could pick up on the concepts. All right, beauty. And here's a survey study, and I think there's a link on this one here. I can't remember. Yeah, looked at 1,000 sports fans, and when attempting professional things. And there's a whole big thing. What brings people in? I think it's the hot dogs, yeah, price of the hot dogs, things for my little kids to play, to watch the sport for a little while and they get bored. I can still go in there and take them to the daycare. The daycare has already been funded, and they got a camera so I can watch little Johnny, little Susie play. Or I could be in there and they got the real screen. I still got the thing with because I hear the roar, the crowd, but I'm still there utilizing the technology and it makes it more affordable for me. Okay. And the price and all these things make a difference, and then again with Maslow security, I understand I got to be secured and everything else. Sometimes I wonder, hey, they secure, I can't bring anything else by water. That means I got to buy everything in there. Now when you have something, you have to buy all the stuff there because of the security rate. You can't bring your whole pack, you can't all this, and you raise your prices up, you are going to alienate a class of individuals who just be able to afford to come in. That's why you have a lot of people do the tailgating, and even that's being kind of challenged. You go out, you have a van, everything else, you have a barbecue. You don't go in there, but you can hear it and watch it. But you can still sell to that thing. You could say, hey, we'll give you a Wi-Fi just in here because the Wi-Fi connection is only got so far, and you've got the passcode, one-time passcode, and you could use your devices there for a fee. You're making money. You sell the goods inside or outside. Remember, it's still your parking lot. We had the tailgate. All right, so what I had in there. Okay, so I did that. Okay, and then okay now Scapegoat factors, Sportgate, model Scapegoat, and the author did a nice job. Again, you have the whole thing. All of this is ties everything we're doing into here. And when they say pleasure, pleasure means I had a good experience. Yeah, look and look at it. Whether you're when I go there, the security was all right. You understand that prices were good. The place was clean. It was easy to go into the bathrooms. I didn't have to worry about any kind of smell. They had a nice long line. They had a lot of. I didn't have to go one. They had different locations. You gotta go. Come on, like it or not. That's one of the biggest drawbacks in some of the things. You got so many people. When they let it out, it was we were out. They had enough exit ramps to leave, and or coming in, I was very secure. I felt safe in there. So you had that scoreboard. I could see the scoreboard. I perceived the crowding. And here, seatings were comfortable. Layout. Proper signage and space allocation. You don't want to be cramped in because you want to get as much money, and they're not like we do on the airplane. I had to fly. And sometimes I'll fly Southwestern or something. Cost. It's coming out of my pocket. So if it's a corporation or something, then I'll take a better airline. But in the majority of people, if I'm in a tight like this, you have to cram it in, and to find out that people are upset because that's way too close to a stranger. I can't even stretch my hand, or if I'm a belcher, or if I want to, I'm a little, I like a little room. Give me a little room. I don't like to be in that unless I'm in an elevator. So, if it's a short trip, long trip, you understand you have the larger, or just say we could have, well, for like a better word, first class. You got certain. What do you call it? At a loss. The boxes up there were corporate boxes. I said when I was working for ComEd and in sales and marketing. I would bring individuals in sky boxes. Come on, they're beautiful. Air conditioning. Bring food. You see the stadium. But it's expensive. But some people could afford that. Some people bring, sometimes they just have those sky boxes are available, or a lot of corporations will offer them to their employees as a gift or a motivator. You know what I mean? Or you may say, hey, today we're going to have for, if you could identify the best teacher in the world, we'll give him and everyone in his department free tickets to the skybox. Hey, come on. I'm trying to sell this just in case you guys ever get to remember Dr. George. All right? And then here is just a picture, I guess, Now here, you come in here, you sit there. Not only can you see the game, you see the beauty. I forgot where that's at. Look in the book, okay? But that gets your attention, okay? Okay, so now I'm looking at the value of sports, public solidarity. And remember, everyone's looking, when you're taking this course, you're looking at the major leagues or minor leagues. Think about the high schools. Think about the grade schools. Right, they're all invited. And the new administration, I think they're going for education, whoever's in charge of education. I don't keep up to that. I just look at are my taxes going up or they're going down, or what are they implementing. But if I'm looking at the education, they're trying to get sports back in. They got rid of recess, because they got rid of all, kids after a while. But you can't sit in a classroom all day long, especially young. They've got that energy. And you can't give them I'm not going to get into this because I know my grandson, he's like me. I'm hyper. So, and my kids were hyper. So you need that thing to burn off the energy. Not that much you're going to hurt yourself, but enough that you could burn off the energy and they could sit. Because sometimes you just need that. You're young. You got all that energy. Otherwise, you're going to just, it's just me. You get the blood pumping and everything else, and you get the kids playing together and learning how to play in teams and be respectful and collaborative learning and helping each other out. Okay, pastime, excellent pursuit, social equity, health awareness is basically that individual quality and business opportunity. When I look at business opportunity, is and there's a link on there. Remember, everything's about business. You're in a business class, right? I know you enjoyed the sport, but now something you enjoy, how could I flip it around and make some money off of it? So you're knowledgeable, but are you knowledgeable in all the sports? You're in sports market. I just like baseball. Hey, your client may be a soccer fan. Your client may be volleyball. It may be golf. Oh, I don't like golf. If you were so do I hire? Sometimes I'll hire the participant, someone that came out of major league, because he or she's given their perspective from the inside. But if I'm looking at the spectators and everything else, I want that general person who enjoys all sports. So that's what we're looking at in the sports market. Don't say, well, I like football and I'm only a football. You're never going to get a job unless you're just going for the NFL, or I like basketball or only baseball. What you're going to say, I love all sports. I play in this, I dabble a little in here. Remember when I told you mine? I do a little canoeing, a little biking, a little hiking. I'm a little older now. I have to look at which sports are favorable for me. I got another class, entrepreneur class, and some people, trampolines. I saw who you're gonna get. You're not gonna get baby boomers like me jumping a trampoline, just bouncing around. I mean, I hurt myself, but you get a certain class of younger people, so that's who your targets are. I come in there bringing them in there. So what do you have? You have latte. You have stuff for me to take care of me, but so the participants are there. I'm a spectator, and a lot of operations will try to incorporate both of those into that. And you see a lot of the stadiums are doing that. Okay, so sports involvement, perceived interest, two dimensions of sports, and I want to say, importance and effect, your feelings, high involvement consumers with more of the game, through sports media, newspapers, internet, magazine. So, you can tell they're a little bit outdated. Because if I look at, from the internet, I would have to put in here, and I might do that right now. Let me just do that here. What the heck I'll add in there? Social media. And there's so many. I mean, you have some YouTubes. You have a lot of other things, but you have to be able to, because this is the group you're trying to bring in, the younger group. And if you're doing some kind of media, and now the author, and even I'm stressing, how do I get more women as spectators? You have to go. You're not going to go into Sports Illustrated and just get more women. Yeah, men come in there. The women who are in sports will be in that magazine. You may have to find some women's magazine and put your ads in there. Say, hey, did you ever think of relieving your stress for the hard days at work or with the kids? Come on over here to our facilities, and we're the gym. And even gyms, and I'm trying to sell one or the other. You got LA Fitness, a lot of students go in there, and what brings them in? Then you have the other ones like Fitness 19. I don't even know if they're around here, but the smaller one that all is just a workout. And even though I could buy my own workout, I could get different equipment, but it's just socialization. It's local people in there, and I meet other people, or I could go with my family and friends. I would try to come up with one that has also, when I'm doing my exercising and running, I could bring my dog, because some of my pets are. If I'm a little overweight, my pet's also overweight. Hey, another way of doing something important. How would you bring those individuals in? Just thinking out of the box. Remember, just the whole class of sports marketing. Okay, and now you have fans, personal commitment to the things, customers in the organization. I do this because, just to see what some of the notes are. Highly identified fans of organization. When you look at price sensitivity and you're taking economics, remember elasticity, customers are very price sensitive. How much are you going to raise the price up? If it's the ticket's $20, I'm going to go up to $40. Hell no. Most people say, hey, they're gouging me. But if it's $20 and I go up for $22, $23, maybe 24, that sensitivity that's going to either turn off a certain class of customers, but still the majority of the customer will absorb that. But if you raise the price by $10, you come in, they're going to have $10 less to buy on some of the other stuff that may be a higher profit margin. You have to look at both aspects. So if you take me for finance, those are the things you have to start taking from the business perspective. Okay, and model for fine. Okay, and this basically just goes in. Here's the figure from the book. Okay, And like I said, I have all that in there. I just bring it up so students ask me, Dr. George. Okay, so here's the outcome. Number one outcome, basically price sensitivity. Fans stick with the team for long run. Fans exhibit low identification. May not decide to purchase it. I'm kind of like a halfway in, my foot halfway in, halfway I do it for the friend. The price is too high. I'll find another alternative or a substitute thing. Remember, I can't afford the major leagues, so I'm going to go into the minor leagues. And the author has other examples. Second outcome basically is if decreased performance, outcome is sensitivity. If the team is poor, unless you're at the Cubs, we're dieharded, or you had that loyal fan base. And it's not only how did the Cubs get that loyal fan base? And I'll just throw that in because I'm from Chicago and I always enjoyed the Cubs. They were the junkiest. They had their low for a long time. Could it be the goat, whatever? You know what I mean? And I tease around. Superstition. All right. Uh, but I could still afford it. I could bring the family in there. Yeah, they may not be in the best seats, you know what I'm talking about, but I could enjoy it. I could sit in there and we could do it. But now that they're doing well and the price is going up, I may not be able to bring a family of four in there because the tickets will cost me $70 or 100 if I'm lucky. Depending, you don't want to be all the way in the corner saying you got kids, you want to be relaxed. It could be even higher, or you know what I mean. And then I gotta buy the pop 'cause I can't bring anything in. I can't bring any water, and I can't bring nothing in. I can just bring myself in, and verily, pretty soon you'll be able to have an umbrella. They'll sell me or rent that. So don't take advantage of your base. If you're losing them, have some days where you could appreciate people, especially people from the neighborhood. When you've learned other classes, social responsibility, give back to the neighborhood. Say, hey, if you're in the Chicago area, we love our neighbors, we love our fan base. I understand the prices went up because we're trying to pay for our reorganization, reculture, but we're going to give back to the community. And if you live in this zip code, show your driver's license, boom, and you can get in for $20 instead of $200. I'm hinting here if you ever get into that position. All right, so we good? Okay, so that's about it. So that takes care of the whole chapter. And I'll move this over here. I usually got my picture in here. And so you do well. Read the book, do the connect, do the homework assignment, not the connect, the journals. Look at the different linkages. Answer my question in the discussion boards. And it's just so you take what you've read, what you've heard, the videos, the links, the communication. Remember, the discussion board and a fully online class replaces lecture in the classroom, and now you have a good idea, and this is a solid foundation class. So when you are going to go into marketing, and for some reason sports may not be, you're just in general marketing, but you're doing it for someone who's selling sports materials or helmets or whatever. Okay. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Chapter 5, Understanding Spectators as Consumers, and I'll see you in our next session. Okay, let's see what we got. 36 minutes. I'm under the half an hour. I add on a little more because I want to bring that closeness that you would read. Because some students say, "Hey, I'm an online class, and I want to." What I'm trying to do is bring you from being just a spectator, looking at the thing, coming in and be a participant, and actually take the class and see if you could pass the class, and then you get more information. This is just a quick summarization. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.